I'm at my place of departure. I'm a complete idiot, and I do this all the time. I forgot to leave my knife at home. So we're going to hide it in this plant, and we'll see if it's still there whenever I get back. Okay, well, I am at the airport, which is the place that one tends to be whenever they find themselves in a flying situation. And we've had a chance to go to some pretty cool places on the History Traveler series, but I am super excited about the place that we're getting ready to go for this trip. And I don't want to say exactly where it is yet, but I'll give a hint. It requires one of these. Alright, thanks. Okay, didn't get the camera out and do any filming of our landing because it's pretty stressful. Getting ready to jump on our connecting flight and almost missed it just because we had some delays. But anyway, getting ready to hop on transatlantic leg. Alright, there's home for the next 7 hours. Kind of here in the back of the plane. Alright, well, we are in Paris, France. I got to thinking on the plane ride over here at the beginning of the video, I kind of set it up like it was going to be a big surprise, not thinking that the title of the video is probably going to have Paris in it. But had a little bit of a hang up with our rental car. They didn't have it at the spot that our terminal was at. But anyway, we're looking for it now, and pretty pumped about this trip. I'm over here on a training tour. I'm going to be leading a tour to another country later on in the spring, and the company's putting on training, flew me and my wife over, and while we're here we're going to hit all kinds of cool places. We're going to go to Normandy, going to go up into Belgium, so you can be watching for several videos following this one. So we're pretty pumped about this trip. Guarantee that there's going to be a lot of cool sights, a lot of cool history, and I can promise you a lot of me mispronouncing French names. So here is our ride for the week. Okay, well, we made it through the streets of Paris, and we're on the western end of the city right now, pretty close to our hotel, and you can see this structure behind me looks a little bit like a fort. It's because it is. This is called, I think the pronunciation is Mont Valerie. This is a place that is a military fortress that was established in 1841. And it was designed to protect the western end of Paris. And if you look behind me, you can see that it is quite the view. So anyway, prior to this being a fortress, Thomas Jefferson had a little place here that he liked to visit. There was a guest house whenever he was the ambassador to France. And during World War I, well, there was an American cemetery that was set up very close to here. So here on our big tour of Paris, we got people running by, but our first stop is going to be the American cemetery. Well, I can see right now that me not being able to speak French is going to be a problem on this trip. But anyway, here's kind of an overview sketch of Mont Valerie. I'm I'm gonna go take a look at a few other pieces of this place. And we're walking down this path. We have no idea where we're going, but we're hoping that it takes us somewhere. So here's a pretty good look at the outer wall of the fortress. And I guess that this is the main gate. Now I think this is still an active military base, so you can't get in there, as you can see by this little access right up there. Pretty cool looking place though. Alright, well, we had to do a little bit of extra walking. I'm about ready to walk through some mud here. Go around this. Had to do a little bit of extra walking, but we finally found the American Cemetery. We saw it whenever we were driving in, but walking to it was a little bit different story. So this is going to be the very first World War I cemetery that I've ever been to. So this cemetery was started in 1917, which is whenever the Americans got into the Western Front area, and then it was dedicated by Woodrow Wilson whenever he was here in 1919. So we're running a little bit short on time because we have some other places that we have to be. So we're going to go inside this complex here and just see what they got in there. So this is just inside the front door, and has this mosaic that says AEF down at the bottom, which stands for American Expeditionary Force. And then this, I guess you would call it an altar, and it says, "I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish." Now, this is kind of interesting. This, you'll notice, is an individual named Cecil Barkley, and he died March 25th of 1919, which is odd because the war ended on November 11th of 1918. Well, it turns out that there are a lot of people here that died from the influenza outbreak that killed millions and millions worldwide. One of the worst global pandemics that the world has ever seen. Turns out that a virus is a lot more deadly than war. Oh wow, I just happened to come across this. Here's somebody named Ella Dalton, who was a nurse at Nurse Camp Hospital 4 ANC, died May of 1919. Here's another one at Camp Hospital 4, died May of 1919. Holy cow, here's another one, same place, Alice Hagedorn, another nurse that died May 25th, 1919. So these are, yeah, okay, here's another 1919, February 21st, another 1919. So these are most likely all victims of the Spanish flu. Holy smokes. Now this is tragic. Here's a guy, George Patterson, and he died November 14th of 1918, 3 days after the armistice. Dadgum, that is awful. Have to wonder whether it was the flu or whether he had sustained some injuries that he succumbed to later on. Wow. Now, this cemetery is primarily a cemetery for World War I soldiers, but there are some World War II soldiers here too, 24 to be exact, and they are unknown. Here rests in honored glory a comrade in arms known but to God. Wow. Now, all total, there are over 1,500 soldiers that are buried here at the Suresnes American Cemetery. Forever looking out over the city of Paris here from the west. Pretty amazing place. So from here, we're going to move to a different part of the fort, but that'll probably be in the next video.